Okay, so now we're going to make a couple other quick modifications. Okay, so I zoomed out, and you can see when I did that, that this text here flowed down into its area text, and that's really not what we want. So let's do a couple quick modifications here. Whoops, I dropped a text box there, and we want to delete that, so we don't want extra text box sitting around. When you're going to select text, a good idea is to highlight it, not highlight it, but select the text so that you are right in the middle of the text, and then go select the text around it. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll take that down to a white color, and let's make the size of that text. Let's make that the 48 point text. All right, and we're getting a little better idea of how we want our our project to look. Okay, and so now what we can do is change this text box so that it's wider, and we can make this the headline. And you know, when you are working on this sort of stuff, you know, there's kind of a wide variety of messages and statements and things like that. And this poster is pretty busy, so what I like to see is something that's, you know, probably a little better organized than this is. Okay, but what I'll do is I'll select that text. I have it set as orange, and I'm going to make this text 80, 80 points. Okay, so I'm going to click character, and let's change that to 80. And also let's squeeze the size of the text a little bit as well. Okay, and so there you can see our text is squeezing down. Okay, and that's exactly what I want. I can also move that text. I just want to move the top one, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the top one. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to squeeze this text down until until it kind of all fits. Now, this is not the way I would normally do it. I'm just trying to do it sort of the way the book does it. Okay, and so what I would do is I would not have area text associated with you know, this headline here associated with this area text down there. I just would not do it. Okay, and so let's make this text down here maybe a little bit smaller, and let's go with 48 points on that. Okay, and so that's going to change the size of that text. And again, as we change our text, our layout is changing. So let's go ahead and we'll select that text and use the arrow key to move that up and down. And let's also grab that text box, and we'll just drag it up. Okay, and now that's kind of where we might want it. I don't like the spacing on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change that spacing. Okay, let's try about 30 and see how that looks. Okay, that's just fine for purposes of this demonstration. Okay, and also I don't want that text showing. You can see now there's some paragraph text there from this area text, and I don't want to show that. So I'm going to make that text box smaller, and you can see that it sent it down here. It was up there, and when I made the text box smaller, that's when it actually moved down to the lower text box. Let's move that out of our way. Okay. Okay. All right. So I can just modify this any way I want so that it looks nice. Okay. So that seems to suit me just fine. All right. Now another thing that I can do, I'm going to zoom in down here, okay, and I want to take a look at this text. So what I'm going to do, I see that I have an extra return in down here, so I'm going to get myself, again, grabbing the text tool and clicking somewhere in the middle. I'm then going to use the arrow keys to get to the beginning of where my text is, and I'm going to put in a couple of, I'm going to delete some of the returns, okay? Now, another thing that we want to do with this text is we want to make this text about 14 point, okay? So we'll go ahead and we'll select it. And notice that when I select text, I don't go over here at the beginning. I try to grab something at the end of the text and then select upward. I just find it a lot easier, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'll go to character, okay? And let's go ahead and let's make that the 14 point like I was saying, okay? All right, and you can see because we created columns now, it flowed out into the other area, okay? Another thing that I can do with this text is I can select it, okay, and I can change the paragraph settings of that, okay? So let's go over to paragraph, and you can see this one is space after paragraph, and you'll see what happens when we do this. I'm going to put that in for 10 points, okay? And sure enough, even though it didn't look like it, we have wash your hands and stay home when sick and so forth as kind of subheads to this paragraph. So what I'll do is I'll click on stay home when sick and move that into the next column. And let's go ahead and take that return out there. While I'm down here, I'm going to do a little quick housekeeping, and I'm going to change the color of those subheads. Okay, so we have that text, change that to yellow, change that subhead, make sure I select just that text. I'm going to select that text and make it yellow, and now I have nice yellow subheads. Okay, I'll hide my swatches now.